Hi, this is Mansi from Mansi Makes, and today I'm going to make some mixed media gratitude tags on black watercolor paper. That's right, I had some black watercolor paper lying in my drawer from some time ago, and I didn't really know what to do with it besides using metallics on it. And I also am very unfamiliar with gouache paints, which I also own. So I figured I would try out using gouache paints on black watercolor paper. So gouache, for those of you who are unfamiliar, and I hope I'm saying this correctly, gouache, I think that's what it's called, is basically opaque watercolors. So you can get the effect that you would get by using acrylics, but you can also dilute them to get a wash like you would with watercolors. So it's kind of combining the two aspects of those two very different mediums. And I thought the opacity would be great on black to test out. And when I did kind of my rainbow theme, because I love color, it wasn't popping. But I was like, hey, that's a cool background. It doesn't even look like black watercolor paper anymore. So how about I make some marks on it? And so I grabbed whatever was handy, really. I had some of my Pentel pastels, and those are oil pastels. I had my Stabilo woody pencils close by. And you can just see I am not following any kind of pattern per se. I'm just kind of grabbing a color and making a mark with it and staying consistent with what mark I'm making with which color. And then I picked up some of my Posca markers. You can see I have my most favorite color, the teal from Stabilo, and then I got a black marker. I also have my distress crayons. So basically any and everything. This is like the kitchen sink on my black watercolor paper. It looked festive. It looked chaotic, but it looked festive. And then I thought I'd make some bookmarks. But then again, my thing is handing out gratitude tags, and many of you have joined me on this initiative. So I figured instead of making bookmarks, I would hand these out as gratitude tags and people could use them as bookmarks. So I cut out 2x4 sized tags, and then I got my metallics out, which is traditionally the first thing I would have used on my black watercolor paper. But as you can see, it's the last thing I'm using. It is basically to cover up all of the marks under, and you can see my favorite motif there, which is that of a branch. There's just something so therapeutic about making these branches. They just signify growth and evolution and everything that is good, that bad things come to an end and good things start to take form. I don't know, that's what I see in branches anyway. So I use the metallic to mask out all of that chaotic background, except for the part that you see through the leaves. And then I used a water-soluble pencil to outline my branch a bit more solidly and dilute a bit of it with water, just to kind of smudge it. And then just enhancing. This is very, very intuitive, you guys. You don't have to think about this as, oh, this is a fixed recipe for making mixed media gratitude tags on black watercolor paper. It absolutely is not. You can see I'm throwing everything at it. I got out my Corinne markers, which are watercolor markers at one point, to enhance some of the aspects of it. Then I went back to my oil pastels. And then I brought my Posca marker in the mix again. And you can see I'm just kind of going back and forth and getting a feel for what it is that will enhance that motif the best. And that really is what mixed media is, in a nutshell. It is exploring different mediums, seeing how they layer over each other and what works. And you'll know what works because some things will just not work on top of others. If you have something waxy, you're not going to be able to use something watercolory on top of that. So it's just a matter of experimenting and letting go of the fear of paper being precious, I then used my pencil to scribble some notes of gratitude, what I'm grateful for in this moment as I'm creating these. And then I used my crocodile to punch a hole and put a little thingamajig for the ribbons, rounded the corners up, and it was as simple as that. You can put a die cut, you can stamp out thank you. I have these pre-printed things and with gratitude lying around that I picked up, and I can just plop those on. Use some ribbon, use some twine, use whatever's handy. But don't be afraid of mixing your different mediums. So many of us have watercolors, we have acrylics, we have gouache, we have water-soluble pencils, we have crayons, we have, all the things in the world. Use them. Use them. Do not be afraid of using your supplies. And at the very end, you can see me making my dots, which is another one of my signature styles, is to add gold dots. And just kind of, tying it all together, because I was using a gold ribbon, I thought a bit of metallic sparkle in the leaves themselves would kind of bring it together. So again, don't be afraid to use your supplies. At the end of the day, it's just paper. And if you end up ruining something, it's not really ruining anything at all. It's not wasting your time. It's not wasting your supplies. It's a process. It's learning. And it's through those air quotes mistakes that we make, we learn the most. So none of this is precious. You can turn it into something precious. And I assure you that people that get these tags or bookmarks, whatever you make out of this, will cherish them. So go ahead and play. I hope this inspires you to try something new and to use your supplies. As always, this is Monsi from Monsi Makes, and I look forward to your comments. Keep creating and be kind.